we overflowed. We started doing it on Fridays, and we decided on Fridays we do something a little different, and we still do the networking, so hopefully you did some informal networking before, and then you can always network afterwards. We are a relationship building network in terms of that we are, our goal here, everybody get a roster. So on that roster, the one side is the leadership and the members, and on the back side is recent guests. So you can see there's not 690 guests on there, so it's not everybody that's shown up. So look at that. If it is your first time, I'd like to get your card before you leave. We'll put you on for the next week's roster for recent guests, and then also you'll get some insight into how you get from the back side to the front side. So on the fronts, yeah.
I was just saying, the gentleman sitting over there, we were chatting before, I think he would make a great Friday speaker.
Yeah, I actually already hit him up.
Oh, good.
So yeah, Rob, I snagged him already and told him what we do and everything, so hopefully he'll get on the calendar. So just a couple of housekeeping items. So on that roster, that roster is a tool for you to use. The way you become a member in this group is, for one thing, you have to attend 3 meetings in a reasonably short period of time. Okay, so that would be, we have 2 meetings a week, so it's not too tough to get to 3 meetings within a month or so. The next thing is you need to have 3 one-on-ones. And as a guest, we want you to have those 3 one-on-ones with somebody that's on the other side of the page. You're welcome to network with each other. That's fine. Have one-on-ones, build relationships. But the reason why we've said we want you to have one-on-ones with people on the membership side is because we want you to understand kind of what this one-on-one in this group is about. It's about building relationships. When you have those one-on-ones, this isn't about pitching Mark Melaleuca, right? It's not about it's not about pitching Pampered Chef, or it's not about cleaning the car. That's all stuff that you do. It's all something that they'll find out in the process. But really, it's about building relationships. We find that people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and even more importantly, is people refer people to people that they know, like, and trust, right? So you're not going to, I don't care if you're in whatever business and I know who you are, I want to know you. In order to get to know you, is if you're not going to offend, or I know you're going to be able to connect with the person that I introduce you to. Okay, so that's the benefit of that. So the third thing is you need to have 3 referrals or 3 guests to one of our meetings, and that could be Wednesday or Friday. This is really one group. We just meet twice a week. Some people go to Wednesday and Friday. Some people go to Wednesday. Some people go to Friday. Some people, go. So anyway, that's the whole thing there. Now it's not 3. We'd love for you to do 3 referrals and 3 guests, but it's any combination of those. Once you've done that, then get that information to myself or Mark Weber, who's not here today. Mark manages the roster, and in fact, I'll be taking your cards and giving them to him. Okay? Clear? The only thing we don't want you to do with that roster is what? Spam. Don't take it back, add it to your newsletter list, your constant contact, or anything else. You're welcome to use it to set up a one-on-one with somebody, connect with them, and then invite them to, and ask them if they'd like to get your newsletter. If they say, yeah, sure, that's no problem. But they need to opt in. Everybody got that? That's really the only, quote, don't do rule that we have in this group. We're pretty laid back. This is not an exclusive group in terms of industry. If you were here on Wednesday, you'll see numbers of people from the same type of, insurance or real estate or whatever. We're not like a B&I group or whatever where it's just one of each. We are exclusive by company, though. So if you're here and you're with Melaleuca, and there are other Melaleuca business owners or whatever out there, if you become a member, then there's no other Melaleuca representative become a member. Same thing. They can come, but they can't become a member. Got it. And the membership on Wednesdays allows you to have it once in the rotation, periodically have a 10-minute spotlight, and so on and so forth. So there's some benefits to being a member. Okay? Any other questions? The meeting costs, I always say $300, check written to me personally, but no, it's actually $1 per meeting. So and that's it. We use that dollar to fund the meetup site so people can find us, as well as we're going to have a mixer coming up in February, and we use the excess to fund drinks and hors d'oeuvres and things like that. Okay, so we do that in the evenings just to kind of get both groups together, and they're always fun and get people loosened up a little bit. All right, we got high finance going on here. Okay, so real quickly, and you guys, last week, I think it was last week, you did such an awesome job with this, but we determined that more is less. So we used to do, on Wednesdays, we do 30-second advertisements. But really what the key is, pay attention to who's in the room, make a point to say, I want to have a one-on-one with them, but what we're going to go through in your name and what company or what's your business you represent. So what do you do and your name, right? Just real quick, less than 30 seconds. Sure.
Cheryl Roberts, pampered chef, and looking for a day job as an office manager or executive assistant.
Cool.
Linda Yo, persona marketing, and that's promotional items.
Randy Sablik, R. Sablik and Associates, Business Growth Consultants.
Marquis Strictly, we offer wellness representing Melaleuca, a wellness company.
Kidnapper, Hello Group Realty, Realtor.
Gary Tucker, real estate agent. We work with buyers, sellers, and we have a leasing company.
Stan, Rayanne Kane, community therapy, manual therapist helping people in.
Rob Griffin, retired undercover police detective from Las Vegas, Nevada. I teach classes.
Cool.
April Gutnick, I help people retire years and years ahead of time, tax-free with only the money they're making now.
Awesome.
Patrick Garcia, agent with New York Life Insurance.
Ryan Hilton, West of Clean Car Care, car detailing, and headlight restoration.
Jenna?
I'm Jenna Akbar with Brand.blog and Business Growth Network, and I help you implement and market your business or teach you how to do it yourself.
And Dave Roberts, and my business is called Roberts High Performance. My tagline is We Connect the Dots, and also working with Jenna on Business Growth Network, and you'll hear a little more about that as we go. All right, so what we're going to do now, and are we live yet on?
Yep.
Okay, we're Facebook Live, so I want to make sure for those that couldn't make it here, we record this, and it's proven to be pretty valuable as far as you can go back. So the good news is, once we get through, she's telling me to move over because I'm out of the frame. But one of the things we do is on Fridays we do this training, and we found that some people couldn't make it, and then they'd say, "Gosh, I wanted to hear that," or "Do you have the presentation?" or whatever. So we felt that it would be a good thing to do, since we come up with this thing called Facebook Live, to go ahead and do that. So we may have some people join us live, but it'll be out there and being recorded. And we've had up to thousands of views on some of these videos, to hundreds of views. So it's been a really good tool. The reason why, one of the main reasons why we're doing it today is we're going to talk about building your brand with public speaking. And the reason why I decided to do this training, is because guess what? I'm coordinating training speakers for this group. And one of the reasons why we did this was not just to have a networking group where you get together and meet people one-on-one. How many people are terrified of public speaking?
Pretty much.
Okay, that's fair. That's actually public speaking. I know you've heard this before. That's one of the biggest fears that people have. Some people fear that more than death. Now, I don't. I love public speaking because I don't know why. Cheryl could probably answer that. Cheryl's my wife, by the way. She could answer why I love it. But I love being in front of folks. But I'm unusual. In fact, does anybody that's concerned, can anybody remember the first time they gave a public speech or whatever in front of a group of people that was really important to you? Anybody? Yeah? Was it a good experience?
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah?
Well, it was a public speaking course in college.
Yeah. So it was a class in college, and they made you
passed out. It just was horrifying.
Yeah, hyperventilated. Yeah. I mean, it's natural to have. You should always have energy. Jenna said, "You want to sit down and do this?" And I said, "I can't sit down and do this because my energy has to come out in my hands. It has to come out here, and standing up keeps me from just doing something really weird on video, right?" So, so if I'm sitting there, like when we do the Facebook Lives, I'm sitting there talking to her, and it's just that's there. It's like a third person in the room. That's different. But I'm sitting here talking to you. I can't do it sitting down. And I would say that that's one of the things that we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so anybody got an interesting story? Because my story is pretty good. Okay, my first time, and I don't know if I'm pretty sure I probably told this to Cheryl, but it's been a while. So it was back when I was working for General Motors, and I'd gone to corporate office, and I was getting this big opportunity to present to the board. And it was the board of the division. It wasn't the GM board, but it was the board of the division I was in. And I had this presentation. I've been preparing for it all night, studying for it, had the presentation, everything else. And I go into the room just like you guys, and they're sitting. And it's about the same amount of people. It was a kind of a, have you ever done those boardroom where you're standing up front and they're all sitting there and they're watching you? And I'm standing there and I'm presenting and I'm going through this stuff, and they're smiling and they're nodding, and I'm going through it and I'm getting into it because the body language. See, that's one of the reasons why I like presenting, is because you get the feedback, and the people are sitting there going, or they're looking around or whatever. I'm going, okay, they're not getting what I'm saying. They're not getting what I'm laying down, so I'm trying to get them energized, right? But these guys were really going on. They were smiling. They were looking at each other. They were going through this whole thing. And I'm going, man, I'm nailing this. It's good, and my energy was good. And I went through the whole thing, and I got done, and I walked out, and my fly was open. Honest to God, my fly was wide open. I had a white shirt. It was even sticking out. I mean,
Nobody would tell you.
No, they were smiling. They were laughing. They're sitting there going, look at this idiot. I mean, I don't know. But the funny thing was, when I was connecting with them and I was delivering the message, that was a positive thing. It wasn't until afterwards when I was mortified and realized that I had just flashed myself in front of the board of my division.
You weren't interested in repeating that role.
No, I haven't. I've been tempted. I've been tempted sometimes to go like this when some audiences were pretty dead, but no. But anyway, so my point is that as you're talking to people, it really is good to engage them. Why should you worry about public speaking? I mean, one of the things is, and again, I just put this together, and I want you to understand that, a lot of people are out there. If you're on social media today, people are talking about building an audience, right? Building somebody to follow, getting inbound traffic. So one thing is getting your self-confidence. Once I did that, even though I was mortified, the fact that I made it through, and they actually did buy what I was selling, and it actually worked out really good. Then my level of confidence went up. Every time you do it, it builds your self-esteem. Once you get through it and you realize you're not going to die, or your hair's not going to go on fire or something like, So the other thing is, if you're talking to people one-on-one, you can ramble around, you can talk, you can interact. I like one-on-one conversations. On the other hand, this kind of, when you're presenting and you're talking to a group of people about a subject that you're passionate about, it causes you to structure your message. It causes you to get real. Linda, when we do the 30 seconds, one of the reasons why I do the 30 seconds is to trigger people's thoughts, to set up a one-on-one with you, but also to get you down to, okay, what is your tagline? What is that 30-second message? So a presentation is more than 30 seconds, but on any given topic, it's forcing you to structure. It's forcing you to get down to what is the message you want to deliver. The thing is, demonstrate your knowledge. And the thing is, who sells? Everybody should. We all sell. Okay. The point is, if the only time you're doing presentations, the only time you're talking to people is when you're trying to get them to buy something, pretty soon you're not going to be invited to many parties. Okay. So part of the reason why is we want you to demonstrate, as we're trying to provide this opportunity to present, is to demonstrate your knowledge, to show your value to the audience that you're addressing. Now, we're addressing an audience not only of this group of people in the room, but also people online. There'll be a number of people, and whether it's good or bad, they're going to get exposure to what I do or don't know. And they're going to have an opinion on that, and that's sometimes a little scary, but on the other hand, it does get you out there. And it takes some risk, and you're willing to invest. I mean, I invested some time last night and practicing and doing some of the things I'm going to tell you to be able to present to you guys today. The thing is generating demand, not just demand for your product, but demand for you. If you've ever noticed, when people go do these presentations, after the presentation, what happens? People come up and want to talk to you, right? I mean, not that people don't always want to talk to me, but I mean, I'm just kidding. But I mean, you get that demand, you get that desire for people to say, I want to get to know her or him better. And that's, again, a good thing. You want to enhance your communication skills. You know, you're dealing with a diverse group of people no matter who you're presenting to. And we'll talk about kind of knowing who your audience is. But in this group, it's very eclectic. It's very different. We all have different things, but we're all here to build relationships. And so being able to communicate in a way that can relate to more than one person at a time is also a good way of enhancing your communication skills. And it allows you to make a difference. There's something, hopefully, that you get here. My desire today, in everything that I do, every day really, but today especially, is that when you're done watching this video or you're done here, that there's something that I gave you that was of value. I made a difference. You'll go away and you'll say, I got something. This guy was weird guy was talking about his fly being down, and I wasn't embarrassed anymore. And he went, you know, I mean, whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be what I intended, although I have an intent. Okay, so it enhances your knowledge. In order to do a presentation, and we'll talk about it in a second, but you have to study. You have to refresh your memory. You have to assemble your thoughts. And then I usually go and research and get more information and have more information in here than will ever come out in this presentation. But that allows me to answer questions and dialogue and so on. It allows you to build a tribe. This isn't just the people that you're selling to, but by presenting, you're going to find people out there that are listening to you present, and they're meeting you for the first time, maybe an anonymous somewhat because they're an audience, but they're saying, I want to get to know him or her. I think the way they do. I want to follow them. If you're a leader, if you're an aspiring leader, and you're going to need to present or talk to your audience. Because how do they know where you're going if you don't tell them? And do you have to go around, and when you're leading a larger organization, I mean, I've had an organization is 2,800 people, is down to myself, you know, or Cheryl and I. You know, so it depends on who's following you, but if you don't communicate, they can't lead. And then the other thing is allows you to build an audience and to ultimately build your brand. And again, people, when I say brand, people in today's world, especially in our social economy, and you heard me say this before, people don't necessarily follow company brands. People follow people. People follow people, and people want relationships with people and want to do business with people that what? They know, like, and trust. So it's you, your brand, who you are. And so this is just another opportunity to do that. So this is kind of my encouragement for you, as many of you. And the reason why I'm doing this, because people say, well, I don't know what to present on. I don't know how to do it. It seems like a lot of work to me. I don't know why. So this is kind of the why. The first step, and I said on the meetup, it said 6 steps. And I'm going to give you, Cheryl, would you pass that down? These are the notes pages, so you can make notes here or whatever, and these are the slides, so you don't have to worry about the slides. And at the end, I'll also give you a little checklist that you can use on preparing for a presentation. So, first of all, anybody that tells you about presenting will say, what is your topic? When I say, you say, I want to come talk, I'll say, what is your topic? What do you want to speak on? What is it? And I'm usually looking for something in this venue that's educational or motivational. However, that's not the most important thing. I want to know your topic, but what you need to know is what is your message or messages. What are the core messages that you want to deliver to the audience when you're done? It can be you pick any topic you want. We're talking about doing public speaking. The message I want you to get out of this is it's worth doing and that you can do it. And it's not that hard, okay? So that's the messages. And I thought about that as I was preparing this PowerPoint and preparing myself to talk to you, okay? So that's the number one step, because before you get into the mechanics and everything else is knowing what messages you want to deliver and to the audience and why is going to be important. Then what is the purpose of the speech? Okay, if you're giving a sales presentation, it's obviously to persuade them to buy your product or engage with you in some way. That's okay. That's not what we're looking for on Fridays. Generally, is it to inform or educate, or you could be presenting to inspire or motivate. Because guess what? We're all people and individuals, right? Do you like to be motivated? Do you need to be motivated? As a business owner, is that ever a challenge? Do you ever have bad days or days where you just think, it's not going to work? Okay, so The other thing is, or do you just want to entertain? You know, I mean, you want and maybe you want more than one of those things, but that's something you need to decide in your first step. And then really, I suggest that you compose one concise sentence that would describe what you do. When I ask you to, what are you going to present on? I'd really like to have, I usually make one up, or I read what you're saying and try to reduce it down to a headline in a sentence. If you notice on those meetups, when you look at what's going to be presented, I usually have, you know, kind of a featuring you, but this is the message. And I try to, now I may be wrong sometimes, but if you have that in your head, again, it's going to be your presentation, whatever you're going to do, wherever you ramble or roam in your presentation, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but wherever you go, that message hopefully will come out, that intent or that purpose will be achieved. The last thing is that every speech must have its own reason for being. It's one of the things I say is that speech, that presentation, that training, that event, there's a reason for that. It could be, you know, so everyone has to have its own reason. Okay, so step 2 is analyze and speak to your audience. Now, I didn't do, you know, in-depth research on each of you here, but I know most of you, or a lot of you, and I kind of know why you're here, and I kind of know the purpose. So really kind of making sure, you know, a bore is somebody who talks about themselves, right? A gossip is somebody who talks about other people. But a real engaging conversationalist is somebody who's talking about you. See, if I'm talking about something you care about, then that's interesting. You find this presentation interesting. If I just stood up here and told you, this is my product, this is what I do, this is what I think, blah, 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 and you don't care, how boring is that? But hopefully this is something you care about. And part of this is, by the way, you guys are, I know some of you are eating and everything, but feel free to interrupt me, because this is not a canned presentation. I've practiced it. I've already, you know, I have all kinds of things going on in my life, so I'm interrupt driven most of the time, so feel free. So what are the interests? And one of the things that when we do the vision challenge, one of the things when you talk about your ideal client, for those who have that frame of reference, is what are your interests? What do you like? What do you do? As I think about examples, illustrations, anything like that, I'm trying to think about things that the person I'm talking to is going to care about or relate to. Get it? So you're contemporaries. So everything is contemporary with them. What are your goals? What are your fears? We already determined this. Some of us are afraid of speaking. Some of us are afraid of, you know, for a number of reasons. Mostly fear of failure, fear of looking bad, fear of being judged, fear of feeling foolish. I'd get that out of the way right away. See, I mean, that's why I say my fly was down. I mean, my kids say I act a fool all the time, right? You know, I've got 5 kids, and if nothing makes you humble, that'll make you humble. Especially when 4 of them are girls. You know, so you got that many women in your life, you're always feeling a little less than complete, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, a brilliant conversation is one who talks to you about you. And that's what you want to get to when you're talking to an audience. The next step 3, is really gathering your thoughts. And you start with, you know, what I ask you for is things you're passionate about, things you believe in, things that you enjoy. You know, because if it's not coming from inside here, if you're not here, you know, I want to see, I get excited when somebody in this group that I know, that I've never seen present and talk, they're talking. Why? Because that's cool. I'm seeing a part of them that I haven't seen before, and it's exciting. Hopefully, you're seeing something about me or whatever that you didn't see before, maybe not. But anyway, so that's.
I've never seen you talk this fast.
You like that? Am I talking too fast? Okay, I'm trying. I want to get through this. So, knowledge, beliefs, statistics, experience, all those things. A lot of people, you know, the analytical people in this room, and I know some of you are analytical. You know, they want to go to and gather all the facts and sort through it and make sure you get everything out before, and then if they hear all the facts, they'll just naturally come to the conclusion that you came to, right? Those are all good to support what? Your message and your purpose. So collect the things around there that will ultimately support your message and your service. I mean, the thing is, people are always, they assign a degree of credibility to anybody speaking. And so if you are giving them a little bit of statistics around your purpose and your message, then you're going to be successful. So do a little bit of research. And actually, you'll always use just a small amount. I think of when every time I get done speaking to a group, I go, okay, I didn't talk about this, I didn't talk about that, I didn't talk about, okay, all these cool things that I had in my head that I was going to talk about. Anybody else have that experience when you've given a presentation? Say, I wish I would have given them that example, or I wish I'd have thrown out that statistic, or I knew this would have been better. We all do that. But the cool thing is, what I believe, kind of in maybe a divine way, that what you need and what I'm talking about is going to come out of that this interaction. Maybe the next time I'll use something else. Third step is prepare your outline. Now I'm going to give you my, or fourth step, is prepare an outline and add support. So what it is I call it storyboarding. I have personally, my personal tool of choice for whatever reason, and I know Jenna does it differently, and I know my wife does it differently, and probably you all have your own way, and I don't care necessarily how you do it. I put together what I call a storyboard when I do a presentation, and because I've used PowerPoint or used what I call deckware all my life, I'll throw a slide, I'll say, okay, this picture illustrates the message I want to put on this slide. I go through and I actually put the 6 slides together and a couple of thoughts, and then I go back and then flesh out what I want to say on those slides. You with me? Whatever works for you, but the important thing is have a plan. Some people you don't have to have slides. I use slides more for keeping me on track, or hopefully keeping me on track, than to actually for you to read. But I give you the notes because I'll say things that are never on the slides. But they reflect some thoughts that I had when I was putting that together. Some people use a text. You can use a text, especially if you have a podium or something. You can talk. We don't really have it here, but you can talk and go through. And some people are really good at reading or ideas. But usually it's short. You don't talk in real language. Don't read it. Anybody experience somebody giving a presentation where they literally just read the whole thing? Yeah, even if they're reading a teleprompter. Some politicians are terrible, right? They read and they're going through, and you can just tell they're looking at you going, and they read the words. They don't speak in common English. So use slang. Use your head, your hand movements, your gestures, your body language. If you're not excited, if you're sitting there going, reading it, I'm excited about this. What's going to happen? Are they going to really believe you? Are you going to be authentic? Are you going to connect? No. So the whole point is. Really come up with, in a presentation, especially the length, we're only 30 minutes, 3 or 4 main ideas. That's really all you can deal with. You arrange and order them in kind of an impactful way. Try to build to a conclusion. You want to start off with a bang, start off with getting their attention, start off with your fly down, whatever it takes, and get people's attention, and then end with hopefully a memorable conclusion. Then really you add the facts. So this is why you do the research. So then once you have that storyboard, then you're adding the facts, the details, the things to kind of support it, just to reinforce the points that you're making on those. And then if you need them, prepare visual aids. Okay? Step 5, have an impact opening and I look at these bookends. These are bookends, say, an impact opening and a memorable conclusion. So the point is, really, have an intention-getting statement. I didn't use it, but I could have used. How would you like to have people lined up, waiting to talk to you, waiting to buy what you have to sell, waiting to make an appointment with you or understand what it is you want to do? Mass quantities of people. Well, public speaking is a way to do that. Obviously, blogging, there's some other things that we can talk to you about in terms of also other ways to build your audience, right, Jenna? But the important thing is this is not that much different, except it takes a little more, you got to get out there and put yourself out there a little bit in front of you. But if you think this is tough, being on a video where people are going to, or on TV, if you will, where people are going to judge you for eternity, it seems like, That's even scarier when a lot of people don't, oh yeah, I'll do it, but I don't want to be on Facebook Live. We've had a few of those. So, so what do you expect the audience? The thing is, what I want you to do with this information, and this is just really is to take it and apply it. And hopefully some of you will be wanting to talk to the group about some things that you would like to share and bless us with as far as things that you've learned or things that are you're passionate about. And it can be things that support or things that you do in order to conduct the business you conduct. It doesn't have to be totally unrelated to your business. It can be what you use to do your business. So anyway, so the last step is really probably the most important step, especially if you don't do this right. Some people, I did this last night. I mean, I'll confess. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do. I thought about it, did a little bit of research, but I actually put it together last night. But one of the most important things I find is you need to really write it or draft it in a way that you can embed it in your head so you don't panic. Edit it, practice it, time it. Time is an important factor here because you don't want to run out of time, which I do periodically, right? So when you write short sentences, memorable words, things that, colorful words, fragments. You don't have to write out whole sentences, right? You're not writing a book to read. It's really things that are going to trigger your thoughts and repeat. Repeat the fact that there's several points I've repeated a few times in this presentation. So there's things that I want to make sure that the audience gets. I want to make sure you understand you can do this. I want to make sure you understand this isn't that hard. I want to make sure you understand this has a lot of value to your business. I want to make sure you understand that I'm willing to help you. And part of the thing is, if you're going to practice and repeat, think about, what if you could have a road show? What if you could have a road show talking about something that you care about and you can go to multiple networking groups or other venues? Because there are a lot of people that want speakers. And not just come to us, but hey, we're all friends, right? So this is a group to practice on. You can try out some new stuff. And we're very forgiving. So this is a very good place to try it out. And you can learn from it. And we'll even video it. You can watch it and say, oh boy, I really messed up. Yeah, whatever. But the thing is, you can have fun with this. And that's part of why we're doing this thing on Friday.
Dave?
Yes, sir.
One thing you haven't said, and looked at your last slide,
Yeah.
I think you're gonna cover, one not to do, and I'm not suggesting
Sure.
you are, is by practicing, you'll learn not to read the bullet, not to read the slide.
Right.
The worst thing you can do is
Just talk to the slide?
Right. And you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, you look back to see if you've missed anything.
Yeah, just making sure that
you've got all the words memorized, that's just for the audience.
Precisely. And that's why you practice, because the thing is, I already know what I put on the slides. Now, if I didn't practice or refresh it in my mind or go over it while I was asleep last night in my subconscious or whatever, it wouldn't be here. And I'll miss some stuff on the slides. But that's why I give you the notes pages on the slides, so if I wanted you to get it last night. So anyway, so then when you get done, you have your brand. Anybody know this movie? The Wolf of Wall Street? I mean, the thing is, that was not intended to be like that movie or, stock trading or whatever, but the point is, people should look at you like this. I mean, people do look at you like, I look at people who can stand up in front of an audience, a room, 1,000 people or people that I admire, and they can communicate a message to me, or whether it's somebody in this room, and I come away with this, and I admire the fact that they invested the time. I know what it takes to do that, whether I'm willing to do it or not, and I appreciate that. So that's really all I got. But you see, it's not that tough. It is really something, and you can take this. I'll give you a little checklist. And by the way, we're going to put this is the type of stuff that we're also putting out on the Business Growth Network, BGN Insiders, for those that are part of that deal. And again, that's still going on, right? Yeah. Are we still doing that so we still got the $2 a month
Till the end of the month.
Till the end of the month. Okay, I think that's.
It's tonight.
Oh, is it 31st or is it tonight?
I was gonna raise it to 10 tonight.
Yeah, I think you did, it was like the 26th or the 27th for some reason.
Oh, it seemed like I saw.
It's
Anyway,
amazing Friday.
okay, it's right away. So if that's something that if you're here or you're seeing about this, you think about that, because that's like, we're not going to do that anymore. We had kind of budgeted only to have at least no more than 200 people, and we can't just stretch it out forever because we'll forget. So it's gonna start, and then I think it's gonna go up. What would we say we need a monthly cost to cover the cost? I don't mean,
$1,050?
yeah, about $1,000. No, it's
20 for now.
20. Okay, yeah. Because again,
That
as
might go
I've
too.
said to you before, what we're doing here is intended to be not for profit, but not for loss.
Right.
So the monthly fees just cover. It's just kind of like the $1 a meeting for this. We're just trying to cover the cost so we can keep the group going and keep things fresh. Okay. Any questions?
Another
Yes, sir.
comment, a boss that I had an interesting perspective, not on so much the format of the presentation, but he said there's 3 keys to a good presentation. One is be bold, and I think you've talked about that.
Yeah.
Animated, all the rest of it. Make a message, make sure you're really getting the point. Be brief, keep it as short as you possibly can to get that message across, and be gone.
Yeah.
Don't deliberate afterwards. Finish. Thank you very
Right.
much.
Yeah.
And then let the audience take over. And I thought about that. And
Yeah.
like mine was a little longer than I wanted to. In fact, like you said, as I rehearsed it at night, I cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had too many stories to tell, and I didn't.
Well, you can never have. I mean, again, stories are good. I mean, for people say, "What do you talk about?" Telling stories. People can relate to stories, right? People can see themselves in that story if you're telling it. So it's good. People get the point that way. But illustration, statistics, all those things. Different people like different things, but stories are always good. I love your stories.
Whether you you're a great presentation person or not, if you have 1 or 2 takeaways that the people in the room can go, wow, and I could use that, I can relate to that. They're not going to judge your presentation because okay, you didn't have great graphics or whatever.
Right.
You did, but I'm saying
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna walk away with, wow, I learned 2 things today that I didn't know.
And that's why those messages. See, that's exactly why I say, knowing the message you want, making sure that you never lose sight of that throughout the whole thing. Then hopefully, the people are going to walk out with that one thing, or that 1 or 2, 3 core messages that you want people to walk away with. That's perfect. Yeah.
Teresa says hi.
What's that?
Teresa says
Hi, Teresa. Any other questions, thoughts, observations, volunteers to do the next training? Actually, we're booked. By the way, we have trainings scheduled. I have people committed through the end of March, or no, through the first week. Sorry, through March. Friday, March the 3rd is committed, and then I have openings March 10th and out right now. So if you want to do some long range planning and say, okay, I'm going to put a stake in the ground and I want to talk about this on March the 17th or March the 24th or March the 31st or whatever, do it. I will tell you, I'm as bad as I'm a big a procrastinator or avoider as anybody in the room. And if I put it and I say I'm going to do it, I'll get it. So if that's something,
the night before.
hopefully some of you said this is something I want this 2017. I'm aspiring. I want to be a leader. I want to have more impact. I want to build an audience, and so I'm going to put a presentation together that I can give at least to this group. And I believe that once you do it to this group, you're going to be looking for some other groups to deliver that same message to. All right. Thanks. I think we got it. All right. So we got. Are we off?
No, you're still
Okay.
live.
All right. Goodbye, everybody on Facebook Live. See you later.